What's up, everyone? I'm Trap, and I love talking about movies. Today, we're talking about The Monkey, a movie about a cursed toy and even worse parenting.
No, it's not a toy. Don't ever call it that.
So, this movie was adapted from a Stephen King short story, directed by Osgood Perkins, and produced by James Wan. I mean, shit, if you get those three names on the top of your box, it's probably going to be pretty good. From what I gather, The Monkey at its core is about trauma, family relationships, and the consequences of not wearing protection. I mean, everyone in this movie that has a kid either didn't want a kid or is a horrible parent. So, there's that.
We're going to do our very best with you boys. It's just that our very best might be pretty bad.
So the movie follows these two twins, and as children they find this monkey toy, and it turns out to be cursed. Anytime you turn its little key on the back and it does its little drumming business, somebody somewhere nearby dies a horrible death. So they try to ditch this thing, but, it's Stephen King, so the childhood trauma comes back to haunt them again when they're older. Before I get too deep into anything, positive or negative, I will say I had a blast watching this movie. It's hilarious, which I didn't expect, and it's got some really good gore and kills in there too. So what worked for me? Well, right off the bat, it's Osgood Perkins. I really enjoyed Longlegs. I haven't seen Blackcoat's Daughter yet, but he knows what he's doing. This movie looks fantastic. The cinematography is great, and you can tell he's really good on set directing those actors. I mean, some of the shots of the monkey itself are like menacing. Like it's just this dumb little toy monkey.
Don't ever call it that.
And the way he works it, even in some scene transitions, is just great. The acting is really great across the board, I will say. Theo James, he does a really good job portraying two different characters, and near the end of the movie being in the same scene together too. And that was worked really well with the camera work. The child versions of Hal and Bill, the twins, that kid did amazing too. I also really enjoyed the kid who plays Petey, Hal's son. He's got this weird, broken sense to him. Like, just the look of him, you can tell, this kid's been through some shit. I wasn't expecting Adam Scott and Elijah Wood in this, so that was kind of a cool surprise. The mom of the twins, played by Tatiana Maslany, I think I'm pronouncing that right, she did great too. I just really didn't like her character, but acting-wise, she did fantastic.
Everybody dies. I'll die.
And you will both die. And all of your friends and their parents and all of their pets and everybody.
I basically went into this movie knowing nothing about it, besides it being Osgood Perkins, Stephen King, and I heard it was pretty gory. I was not expecting it to be so comedic, and I'm very picky with comedies, and even more so with comedy horror. I'm really not typically a fan of comedy horror, but this movie, at least the first half of this movie, nailed it. I was literally laughing out loud watching this by myself, and I don't even laugh out loud with most real comedies that I enjoy. So that's saying something. This movie had some really good edits, some really good acting, and a lot of everything in the first half of this movie just hit the mark perfectly. The deaths in this movie were surprising as well. I wasn't expecting a Rube Goldberg machine Final Destination approach to at least some of these kills. But the ones that utilized that approach I thought were great. I was in anticipation, you see something and you're like, oh shit, here we go. I know I know where this is going. And for the most part, all of those kills paid off for me really well. There were some other ones that were just here's a body exploding and okay. But for the most part, the kills were really great in this movie. Really good gore too. You could tell a lot of it was practical effects. There's one death in here that I'll talk about in a moment. But for the most part, the effects were great in this movie too. Things that didn't work that well for me, like I briefly said earlier, the first half of the movie I thought was great and kind of lost me at the end there. I won't spoil anything yet. We'll get into that in a moment, but But yeah, the second half of the movie, the conclusion, eh. Like I've been watching horror movies almost my entire life, so I've grown to expect a bad ending. So I wasn't too surprised, but it's still a bummer. Overall, the premise of this movie, the concept is awesome. I love it. But as a movie with, you know, a beginning and an end and an arc in between and a story, it was a little lacking for me. Everyone's got their own opinions on stuff like that, but, you know, I was left a little disappointed at the end of this one. I'll just say that. And with that, I don't know if I could really say much else without spoiling anything. So overall, I liked this movie. I had a blast watching it, and I was by myself, and I was still laughing out loud, like I said. I definitely recommend this to any horror fan, especially any horror comedy fan. You're going to dig this movie. You're going to have a good time with it. Is it the perfect horror film, as the box states? Not for me. I mean, that's a pretty opinionated quote anyways. I'm surprised that's on there, but not for me. So I'm going to be getting into spoilers here. So there's your warning. As I said, the first half of this movie is fantastic all the way through. I even like the opening narration. Like I feel like I'm watching an older 80s movie or something. You really feel for the kids, especially after that first funeral. There's a scene after the first funeral where they're dancing with their mom, and you like really start to feel a connection with these three characters who by this point were just so different from each other, and even the brothers don't get along, obviously.
Mom says she hates you because you made Dad leave and now she has to go on dates.
So the first death in the movie was okay. It was kind of a Rube Goldberg machine type deal, but it wasn't anything insane. I mean, the entrails coming out, that was cool, but the second death where they're with the babysitter in a sushi restaurant or something, you can kind of tell, like, okay, something's about to happen. What's it going to be? What in this restaurant is going to fall off the ceiling? After seeing the first death be that Final Destination style approach, you're expecting something like insane to happen. He's going to flick a piece of sushi, and it's going to get caught in this old lady's throat, and she's going to cough it up, and it's going to make the waitress slip and drop some glasses. And it wasn't that. It was just the guy, like, his job is to stand right in front of customers and cut this shit. And he does this fancy little sling move with his spatula and literally cuts off her head, like completely through the spine. Like, what? The thought of that happening to those kids right in front of them, that made me leave the scene. Like, okay, like that must be traumatic as hell for these kids. I'll take that. But the death, kind of down. Then you get to her funeral, and there's this like super rookie stoner priest holding, like, talking over the funeral, and the first thing he says is like,
Oh, fuck. Today.
He says a lot of things in that funeral like that, where you're just like, who hired this guy? How did he get a job at this church? What is going on? No one says anything. I mean, he even calls it out at one point. He's like, oh, it could have been anybody, you know, it even could have been you. And it zooms in on the mom, and she's just like, I'm pretty sure family of that innocent babysitter who was decapitated, if somebody was speaking at a funeral like that at anyone I know of, like, people would be in an outrage. That is absolutely insane. I know it was for comedic effect. It worked. It was funny. But, like, at that point, and this is still pretty early on in the movie, I started to really understand that I have to stop looking at this so realistically. Not that I would look at a cursed monkey toy realistically, but you know what I mean. Osgood Perkins does a really good job of the way he's filming, and the quality of the end result effect is so good and real looking that it gives this outrageous movie a very realistic feel to it. So it's hard not to think that way, especially in the first quarter of the movie. But yeah, so at that point I was like, okay, just take what I get, I guess, you know. There's some other deaths that are really good. I enjoyed most of them, I will say that. There's one death at the end, and that is of the twin brother Bill. I mean, what the fuck? Like, you're using great practical effects for almost all of this movie, and then it's a huge, like, his hotel, I guess he lives in, or whatever the hell that was, is like booby trapped everywhere. And he's got like cameras outside and everything. I guess those were all laid for his brother. He's trying to kill his brother the whole movie. He's got all these booby traps out, and one ends up turning on him. And it goes back to a previous like daydream or fantasy the young kid had of killing him with a bowling ball. He gets his head smashed with a bowling ball.
Looks like God's bowling strikes tonight.
But it's so obvious CGI and just shitty looking. Like, what happened, man? This is like the most important character to die in this film, and we get that. Like the priest, basically, everyone in this movie, I don't care about most of these people, basically. They're all either assholes or horrible parents or just really fucking stupid. Like the priest, a perfect example. Hal's boss, I guess? Just a fucking zoned out, like lifeless idiot.
Wait, you got a kid? Shit, man, that sucks. Does it live with you?
And it's funny, like the priest, I was chuckling, but it's like, all right, what are we going for here? There's also a scene near the end with like the world's largest hornet's nest. Like, it looks like something out of frickin' Winnie the Pooh or something. Are hornet's nests that big? I guess I should Google this first before I talk shit about it. Fuck that. I take that back. It was apparently a fucking common hornet's nest. Shit is humongous. Anyways, the idiot in this scene fires off his gun because he's an idiot, goes through the windshield, and right through this humongous freaking Winnie the Pooh size hornet's nest. It's trying to build up tension. One little hornet pokes its head out. And then suddenly it's this like ridiculous stream of hornets flowing out of this hornet's nest in a perfect like cylindrical shape right through the hole of the windshield and into this dude's mouth until he fills up. Okay, that was kind of dumb. And while they're flying in his mouth, he's fucking firing off his gun, and Hal in the front seat is just like, oh, and these hornets are like flying right fucking by his face. Get out of the car, dude. Come on. I think the thing that pissed me off the most in this movie is when they get to Bill's place at the end, and Hal and his son Petey and the dipshit in the back are all in the car, because Hal was very close to telling Petey the backstory to all this and explaining why he hasn't been there as a father and why he's just another deadbeat dad. And they get cut off by this Thrasher kid. The Thrasher kid says, "You're going to go in that house and you're going to steal me that monkey toy." And then out of nowhere, Petey just pieces together that, okay, I guess this monkey toy the guy's pointing a gun at my head telling me to go get is the reason your life is miserable. He doesn't even know what's happened in his life yet. All he basically knows is that he's got a brother, it's a twin brother, and his aunt and uncle raised him after his mom died, and his aunt just died because they were just at her house. That's basically all he knows about his dad overall. Even to the point where when he goes inside Bill's place and sees him, he's like, "Oh, is that the thing that's been ruining your lives?" Or something like that. And it's like, how do you know anything about anything, dude? So the ending was very rushed to me. On top of that, I think at the beginning of that scene, he's referring to him as Hal, his dad as Hal. And then like 2 minutes later, he's calling him dad. Like, did we miss some like bonding moment here where everything's going to be okay and we're supposed to imagine that you guys are going to become buddy-buddy after this or something? Like this kid isn't running for the hills after seeing this insane shit. So that bugged me. The last scene in the movie where Petey and Hal are driving away and like the town is just on fire and everyone's dying. That scene kind of bugged me too. I guess I just wanted more from the ending of this movie. There's just so much random stuff going on. You see like a lady pushing a baby carriage and the baby carriage is on fire. Stop pushing the baby carriage. You see like a representation of death. A few times in the movie he mentions like a pale rider on a pale horse or whatever the saying is. And you see a pale horse with a pale rider with like blacked out eyes. And he's just like, like gives him like the affirming nod. Like, yeah, okay, you're death or whatever. Like he wouldn't be shitting his pants if he saw something like that. And then like, of course, you get like a Final Destination bus plowing scene where it knocks off the heads of all these cheerleaders who are for some reason all like arms and heads out the window cheering, yeah, with the town just on fucking fire around them. Like, even if you're from out of town, coming in for a football game or something, and you're just rolling in the town, you mean you're not seeing all this carnage, all this death and fire and explosions and smoke around? Like, go team. So, first half of the movie, I was on, man. It was really great. I loved it. It's going to make it rewatchable for me for sure. That and most of the deaths. The second half, enter Stephen King in It Chapter 2 right there.
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
So, I would definitely recommend this movie to any horror fan or horror comedy fan. You're going to get some fun out of it. Just don't take it too seriously. Don't go into this expecting anything other than darkly comedic bloodbath, basically. But with all the positives and all the negatives I had about this movie, I did have fun watching this movie. I would not say it's the perfect horror movie, but overall, I would say 3 out of 5 stars. That's going to be my ranking for this. 3 out of 5. I'm happy with that. Maybe it'll grow on me more as I keep rewatching it, but... So what did you guys think of The Monkey? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it too funny? Was it perfect? On the mark? Were the deaths good? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you enjoyed this, please like, please subscribe. I know you guys hate hearing that shit. I hate saying it out loud, finally, but it would really help out a brand new channel. So hopefully I see you guys next time I subject myself willingly to another movie that's using trauma as a character arc, most likely. And remember, if you don't want kids, wear protection. See you guys next time.